we can immediately go forward to the next talk then, which is by Johannes, Tanne for dental X-ray, and going to explain us a bit about using Git for QMS documentation control. I'm really interested, by the way, in hearing how to do that. So the floor is yours.
Thank you for the invitation. I will try to make it as fast as possible. So let me share the screen. So first introduction short from my side. My name is Johannes Tanne. I'm the Regulatory Affairs Manager at Dental X-ray. So what we invent is a standalone software based on an AI solution to detect several pathologies. So there's a fast process in the model development, and also we want to release our software versions updates as fast as possible. And we have a lot of documents that we need to update during the release process. So right now, and what is really useful, especially in the development department, is the use of Git for the quality management documentation. So first of all, let's look on the homepage of the creator of GitLab. They said already on their page that GitLab can be used for the compliance of your documentation process and the quality management system according to the 13485, but they are not certified by this standard, but they give different kind of hints that you can use for your quality management system. As you know, most of web application developers use GitLab for the version control, for store all the history of their code and so on. And you also can use this one to document your standard operating procedures, for example, and also your records, like forms, templates, and so on, for the documentation control. But don't believe me. Let's look into the requirement of the ISO 13485. What is required? You need to evaluate and update your documents. This is especially made, for example, possible with branching, so that you use branches in GitLab to create your respective files. Like when you use, for example, or create a Word document, you create a new version. It's like you open a new branch and there you make all your changes. And approval is also necessary. And this is also something that you can use in Git, that you get, that you assign someone, a designated approver reviewer that gives respective approval for the respective document. The last one is a version. So you need to make the version available of the respective document. So most manufacturers normally do or describe a version history in their documents, or they define the version in the document name. So this is nothing you need to do in GitLab, because you just describe the name of your document and place, for example, a table. This is something how we do it now, a version history with the respective date, the name of the author, the approver in it, and then you update this version history after you released the respective document. You need to prevent the loss of the respective documents, which is actually documented in the GitLab history. And you need to make the documents available. It need to be identified, and only valid documents need to be available for your employees. This is especially made within the master of your, for example, QMS repository. As a short overview, I want to show you a very simplified workflow, how we can achieve this. I mean, this is actually something all the developers know already. When you do some changes on your code, for example, and you say, okay, you need to make changes in the software requirements or software specifications, then you just split up a new branch from your master. Let's take as a master the technical file repository. And then you change everything related to your software change in the respective documents. Let's say the software specification, the software architecture. Then you change the version history. You see it here on the right. One example, like a small table where you describe the author and maybe also the reviewer. You can place it by yourself, or when you do the merge commit at last, the approver writes down the respective approval. Then you create your merge request and assign the respective approver or reviewer. And if nothing needs to be changed, the merge request is approved by the reviewer. Yeah, so they are in the browser interface, for example, there's a special button that you easily can push. This is especially useful when you work with employees or management responsibles that are not familiar with GitLab, so that they just go into the user interface and look for the markdown files, check it, and can approve it in the merge request. So we trained our CEOs, and they really agreed with this process, because it's really going forward with this approval process. And last but not least, the merge request can be closed by merging back the feature branch to the master, so that you update all your documents in the master and you have all the valid documents in your master branch. So this is a really simplified workflow. As I said, what is important, you need to validate this workflow. So when you have to find your own workflow, you need to make it according to the 3485 standard. You need to make a validation of this process. So I've talked about all this workflows now for the documentation control. Let's switch to the pros and cons. So I've talked about the advantages already, because we have a very nice traceability, a very good history tracking, linkage between the documents. I think the most advantaged document types are the documents placed in the technical file, because the development department can really easily change the software requirements, architecture, description, something like this. We also have other files that are required by the standard and the regulation in our technical documentation, and they are changed within GitLab. But there are also some kind of disadvantages, like documents like large tables that are not so much useful in GitLab. So here you can use alternatives like Google Docs or Google Tables. And also it is not that accepted by all the employees, like departments from the marketing or the human resources, because they have different kind of documents or tools that they want to use. So it's not so easy handleable for these departments. Nevertheless, it's really nice to use with the development department, and we also got successfully through the audit during our certification with the use of GitLab. So, and this is actually the end of my presentation. I hope I was fast enough.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for your presentation. It's super interesting, and it seems like working this way will definitely allow for proper version control, the way I see it. So that's super nice, and good food for thought for I think for all of us in this field. I did wonder to myself if I, as a non-techie person, will be able to do this as well. But that's my question. I think I will probably get a bit confused easily, being a non-techie. But thanks a lot for your presentation.